Iran Air is a big company, of course. We are flying 27 destinations domestic because Iran is a big country with so many airports. And we are also flying about the same, 28 destinations outside internationally. Mostly we serve the Europe from Iran and then the region and the Far East on the international routes. Iran Air is now, I think we celebrated just recently the 55 years of anniversary because Iran Air has been established in 1961 by merging of two small companies and then became Iran Air as a national carrier. We are more than 52 years, more than 5 decades now, a member of the IATA, so one of the very old member of the IATA already.
Today, Iran Air successfully took delivery of the first ATR 72-600. So what were your main reasons of choosing ATR aircraft?
Yes, it's a good question. The country, as I said, Iran is a very big country with a population of 80 million, more than 80 million. We have a lot of provinces and a lot of small cities and more than 65 airports. Out of the 65 airports, if you go to the statistical report out of the civil aviation on Iran, you will see that, you will notice that 90% of the passengers who were carried by Iran Air and the other carriers who are active in Iran are carried in the about 10 or 12 megacity airports only. And the other 10% of the passengers on the domestic, they have been carried on the other 90% of the airports. So the balance is very poor, of course. And there is a big potential in the country because, unfortunately, due to the imposed sanction to the country, we do not have also a good connection on the rail and also on the road. So connecting the cities, small and big, and the provinces by the plane would be very helpful for the country and for the communication and connecting the people in industry and all those things. So, of course, ATR has been one of the aircraft which has been chosen already in 1992, if I'm not mistaken, from the other carrier in Iran, Iran Osman Airline. They were the operator of ATR 42 as well as ATR 72, and some of them are still operating in Iran. And those aircraft were serving and flying in some of these small airports as well. Because some of the airports are short runway, there is, of course, not enough investment on the infrastructure for the handling, I mean. So you need the aircraft which a very low investment on the infrastructure and also the handling equipment in the airports. So this aircraft can help. We have as you know, a big deal also with Airbus for roughly about 100 aircraft for next 10 years. And we've had also made a deal with Boeing for 80 aircraft for the next 11 years as well. But those aircraft, as I said, would serve the domestic on the mega cities and the region, international countries in the region, as far as the routes on the Europe and Far East and the routes that we have been stopped. We have stopped them because of the lack of the or right equipment which we would need. But for the small cities and for the small airports, which there are a lot, number of them are more than, I think, 40, 45 in Iran, we had the instruction from the government, because Iran Air is a state-owned company and it belongs 100% to the government. So we had the instruction from our government to work on this issue as well. So that's why we started evaluating the 50, 60, 70, up to 100-seater aircraft, which are suitable for this purpose and to fly to these small airports, as I said. So there are a number of the manufacturers who are building up this type of aircraft, either on the turboprop or on the turbofan jet aircraft in this number of, as I said, from 50 to 100 seaters. So we evaluated many of them. But as I said, ATR had experience in Iran, and that was a good opportunity for us to ask our Iran Osman Airline, and to review their operation with that aircraft. So that was, of course, one issue. And the other issue was that we think that between Iran and Europe, after the Iran and 5+1 talks on the politician side, there is a good relation between Iran and EU. So technically and politically and economically at the end, and of course, based on the negotiations and technical review which our people did for this type of the aircraft, so we decided to work on this deal. Of course, as you know, we started this this deal January 2016, when our president visited Europe, I mean Italy and then to the France, and then we started to make this MOU during the Mr. Kastelbayak, Patrick, when he was running the company. So we made the MOU in that time during the president visit to the Europe and to the Italy and France. And then we started our negotiation. I think I mentioned this morning, as Francois told me yesterday, he has calculated the number of the days and the meetings that he has been in Iran for this deal. It was a long one, I think. As they told us, 15 months it took for us. And he said 81 days he was in Iran, so running this. So it was a big deal for us, of course. And we are very happy today that 1 month ago we could together finalize all the remaining issues and sign this deal. And of course, we are very happy that today is a unique day, I think, also for ATR and Iran Air, that we are delivering 4 aircraft at the same time. We have never had this in our company, and maybe ATR has never experienced it. I have heard that you have experience of delivering 2 and 2 maybe in a week, but 4 delivery could be a unique delivery and a memorable one. I think so.
So you chose to operate ATRs. So what is your vision regarding the potential of the turboprop market in the Middle East?
In the Middle, I think we better say about Iran first, as I said, because there is so many airports, as I said, and we are really optimistic that we can, by operating this type of the aircraft, we can fulfill the requirement of these small provinces, of course, and to connect and to work as a hub and spoke from the small cities to the mega cities, small airports to the mega airport to the big airports. And we think that we can do it. On the other side, in the area and in the region and in the Middle East, as you mentioned, this aircraft, in my opinion, and according to our commercial department survey, we can also serve some international routes. Let's say, if you're familiar geographically with the map of Iran, we are very close from an island called Kish to Dubai. It's maybe only 20 minutes by flying from this side of the Persian Gulf to the other side. Or you have, for example, on the northwest of Iran, we have cities like Tabriz, and then and above that you have Baku in Azerbaijan. So they can be connected by, again, maybe 40 minutes of flying. And if you come to the other side, to the south, again, you can find areas like Lar. It's a very small city with a very rich people who are very much connected to Doha in Qatar and so and so. So these people on the small cities, they would like to travel internationally, but they normally go to another mega city called Shiraz, and they fly from Shiraz, for example, to Doha, or they come to Tehran and then they fly to Doha because there is no direct flight from there. So you have find so many samples. You can find so many samples like this. So you can, I think, by this type of aircraft, we can connect the small cities inside the country and also the border cities, the border airports, to the border airports on the region and on the Middle East. This is, of course, the plan that we have studied.
Iran is also expected to be the Middle East's next big tourism destination. So will expansion of the ATR fleet also allow your airline to develop the market for business customers?
I cannot answer exactly or 100% to this now, but this depends how we can or how we are able to receive, as I said, the aircraft which we plan from Boeing and Airbus, of course, and we expand our fleet and our routes to the other international airports. But the plan is, as I said, to connect the small provinces to the big airports and the big provinces. And then, in that case, we can, as an hub and spoke, we can connect more people if they can do as a feeder to our bigger aircraft. Because if you're flying from one small city to another, then you cannot feed a 150-seater or even like Airbus 320, if you're talking at 160 or 70-seaters in two classes or even one classes, then you need the small aircraft to feed them. I hope very much in the future, but not very early future, but in the, let's say, 5 or 1 decade or 10 years, we can have these achievements. That to make Tehran or other cities as a hub for, because again, I should emphasize this, that Iran is a better country, or Tehran is a better airport and destination to connect Europe and Far East. So many people who are flying, who doesn't have a chance, price-wise, competition whatsoever, to fly from Europe, any destination in Europe, to the Far East, any destination again. They are normally flying over Iran. They go to the areas like all those countries and airlines on the Persian Gulf areas, and then they fly again from there to the Far East. So this will give them minimum 2.5 hours more flying. This means more fuel, this means more expenses, this means more times, and. But if we are able in a decade, of course, not in early future, as I said, to make Tehran, at least Tehran, as a hub for a connection on the cargo and on the passenger, for the people mainly from Europe to Far East, which is one of the big goals that the other carriers who are rolling this now and making the advantage, then we can become one of the major airlines in the Middle East. I should emphasize again, 40 years ago, Iran Air was the first carrier in the region, because we were the first airline with the 747 SPs, and we used to fly daily Tehran, New York. So this company has a background like this. So, and the country has a potential, as I said. But due to the import sanction, we did not have, let's say, the opportunity to expand like the other carriers and in the south and in the north part of Iran. So there is a potential, and if we are able to get the right equipment, there is a possibility to convert this Tehran as a hub, or as a major hub, or one of the hubs for the connecting between Iran and Europe.
So how do you think your passengers will welcome this brand new ATR 72-600?
I think they will be happy a lot. I should tell you the fact now that yesterday, before I come to Toulouse for delivery, up to yesterday, I have received at least 10 official letters from the governors of those cities, small cities or small airports, I should say, that before the aircraft is landed to Tehran, just by knowing from the media, they are asking for this flight from Tehran to these cities and from this city to the holy cities in Iran, and to connect them. So I think they will be very much, of course, the number of the aircraft is not enough yet. There is only 4. Until we bring them to the operation, we need a couple months. But if we are able to bring another 5, which according to the planning we have until end of this year, then we have a fleet of 9. We can serve so many of those countries. So I can say that the people, the governors, and they will be very much appreciated to receive this aircraft. But of course, it's very important, as I said, to Giovanni and to Christian Scherer and so on, so that we are very much should count on the support of the ATR. Because when you bring the aircraft, if you can bring it smoothly to the operation and without further problem and so on, so then it will have a very good reputation, and it will open its, what we call it, the space to the people, and the media, of course, will work a very big role in this. So I think this aircraft, after a couple weeks or so that we are making this on operation, we will have a very good reputation in Iran, as I see it from now, before the aircraft is landed in Iran.
Okay. So it's the beginning of a new partnership with ATR. So how do you see your relationship evolve in the next future?
Yeah, of course, we are very hopeful and optimistic that we can work together with ATR, because this is the first deal we made with ATR. Iran Air used to operate turboprop engine aircraft, Fokker 50, but not for the Iran Air. It was for another company, for the Ministry of Oil, because there are many islands in Iran that they need small aircraft and to touch and go for the oil and refineries and so on. So they needed this aircraft, but they did not have the airline or the operator. They have it now. So Iran Air first started with delivery of 2 or I think 4 aircraft long time ago, maybe 15, 16 years ago, for the Iranian oil ministry. And then we transferred the aircraft after 2 years to them. So we have experience of the turboprop engine aircraft, but not for Iran Air itself. So this is the first experience we have for ourselves. We look forward very much to extend it in the future, of course, and we should try our best, of course. But I think ATR is 50% of this deal. And if they should, as we discussed already several times, ATR, we are very look after this cooperation to receive the good support to have this operation, smooth and safe operation. Otherwise, both of us will be on the problem. I mean, Iran Air and ATR both. And Iran is expanding in the future. It's not only Iran Air. There are so many carriers in Iran, and if we have if we both bring a good reputation out of this deal to the country, I'm sure that the other carrier will come to the ATR and they will ask for this aircraft, because the forecast for Iran shows that in next, let's say 10 to 15 years, even the IATA, ICAO, and Airbus and Boeing survey shows that this is statistic, that Iran will be growing on the aviation, at least will be double by next 15 years, the demand and the growth. So for this reason, if we are bringing both together, this cooperation, a good reputation in the country, I'm sure, 100% sure, that Iran Osman Airline, who is looking after the aircraft now, the same seater, but the different type that we know, and I think ATR management knows it very well, they will come also after the ATR to buy more aircraft to bring to the country. So the forecast says that we need more than 300 to 350 aircraft in next 10 to 15 years, because all the old aircraft, as I said, will be phased out by next 10 years. Let's say there is now 170 aircraft flying in Iran, from ATR 42 up to 340s that you can find, 160, 70. All these aircraft should be phased out within next 10 years, and you have to substitute them, and you have to double them to keep the growth.